The Dawn of Spirit, Transcending the Moral Crisis. Introduction. An epoch of trouble and transition. Seekers of truth, we stand today at a precipice in history. It is manifest to any observer that the great world of thought is currently sundered, divided between two inimical and contradictory schools. Viewed in this light, our epoch is undeniably one of trouble, of confusion, and of transition. We look around us and see that religious faith has grown lukewarm. Meanwhile, the broad, luminous principles of the philosophy of the future are as yet apparent to only a very few minds. Ours is a mighty age, certainly, if we reckon it by the sum of material progress accomplished. With powerful appliances, modern civilization has transformed the very surface of the earth. By lessening space, it has brought nations into a tighter embrace. Education has been generalized, institutions improved. We have seen right replace privilege and liberty triumph over the archaic spirits of routine and authority. A great battle is being waged between a past that strives against death and a future that struggles to be born. Stimulated by this struggle, the world is restive. An irresistible impulse urges it onward. The road we have traversed leads us to presage even more brilliant achievements. And yet, there is a shadow. 2. The paradox of progress. While physical and intellectual progress has been truly remarkable, moral progress is nil. In this regard, the world seems rather to be retrograding. Men are so feverishly absorbed by politics, by industrial and financial enterprises, that they sacrifice their spiritual welfare on the altar of material ease. Civilization dazzles us with magnificent displays, but like everything human, it possesses a dark side. It has improved the conditions of life, yes, but in satisfying us, it has increased our requirements. In whetting man's desires and appetites, it has stimulated his sensuality and depravity. The craving for pleasure, luxury, and wealth grows ever more imperious. Man feels he must acquire and possess, regardless of the cost. This insatiable hunger is the cause of those shameless speculations transacted in broad daylight. It is the cause of the deterioration of character and conscience we behold. It is the fuel for that fervent worship rendered to wealth, the golden calf, whose altar has been erected where fallen divinities used to reign. Science and industry have increased the wealth of mankind 100-fold. Yet this wealth benefits but a small portion of the masses. The livelihood of the poor remains precarious, and fraternity fills more space in our oratory than in our hearts. Even today, one can starve in the streets of a wealthy capital. 3. The social pathology. Look closely at the structures of our society. Factories and manufacturing centers have become hotbeds of physical and moral corruption, veritable infernos of labor. Drunkenness, prostitution, and debauchery spread their poison everywhere, checking life at its outset and impoverishing generations to come. Our newspapers compete in the broadcast sowing of defamation and falsehood, while an unwholesome literature crazes the brain and impoverishes the soul. Consequently, each day chronicles fresh inroads of suicide and despair. Consider the statistics of France. In 1820, 1,500 suicides were recorded. Today, that number exceeds 8,000. Each year, 8,000 beings, lacking energy and moral sense, abandon life's fruitful struggle to seek relief in what they deem to be oblivion. The number of crimes has tripled in the last 50 years, and tragically, a considerable proportion of condemned criminals are adolescents. We must attribute this to the environment, to the bad examples set for children, to the weakness of parents, and the utter lack of family training. 4. The forgotten self. The evils we endure arise from a fundamental ignorance. Notwithstanding the strides of science and the broadening of education, man still ignores himself. He knows little of the universal laws and nothing of the forces within him. The ancient admonition of the Greek philosopher, "Know thyself," has remained a sterile appeal. The man of today knows no more than he of 20 centuries ago regarding whence he has come, whither he is bound, or what the real object of his existence is. No teaching has revealed to him an accurate idea of his function in this world, his duties, or his destiny. The human mind vacillates undecidedly between the inducements proffered by two mighty powers. 5. The battle of giants, religion and science. On the one hand, we have the religions. They are followed by a pageant of error and superstition, a spirit of domination and intolerance. Yet, let us acknowledge that they are also attended by consolations and feeble glimpses of primordial truth. On the other hand stands science, materialistic in essence and tendency, the embodiment of cold negation and unconciliating individualism. Yet, it too is followed by a goodly retinue of substantial results and discoveries. Such are the two giants, a religion without proofs and a soulless science, confronting and defying one another in an endless struggle. And around them accumulate the ruins of wrecked hopes and shattered aspirations. Gracious feelings are dying out. Discord and hatred replace peace and goodwill. In this confusion, conscience has lost its lodestar. It falters, often unable to distinguish good from bad. The moral dilemma for those bowed down by life's burden is well nigh intolerable. The choice offered as a reward for their suffering is stark. On one hand, total annihilation. On the other, an inaccessible paradise, or an eternity of torture. 6. The poison of materialism. The consequences of this conflict are visible in the family, the schools, and society. Virile education is a thing of the past, for neither science nor religion can produce strong souls equipped against life's perils. Philosophy, addressing only a few abstruse minds, has abdicated its influence. We have discarded ancient beliefs, but found nothing to substitute for them. Materialistic and atheistic positivism discerns nothing in life beyond a transient combination of matter and force. It attributes the titanic administration of the universe to a witless mechanism devoid of justice, solidarity, or responsibility. This point of view causes a relaxation of social bonds, a pessimistic skepticism, and a contempt for law. To some, it brings discouragement. To others, increased covetousness. To all, the worship of flesh and profit. It has raised an idealist generation devoid of faith in the future, lacking persistence, doubting itself and everything else. If dogmatic religion led to despotism, anarchy and nihilism are the inevitable outcome of materialism. We see this in the writings of eminent materialists, meters. Jules Soury describes life as the useless existence of parasites on a despicable planet, where love is a sinister hallucination and oblivion a blessing. He argues that the beauty and goodness we see are merely illusions we have spun ourselves. Madame Ackermann, the poetess, exclaims that she would bid mankind die, for no progress can rescue humanity from its misery. Such beliefs cannot inspire high aspirations or the courage to face hardship. A society without hope in a future state is like a man lost in the desert or a leaf whirled by the gale. If we are persuaded that death is the eternal extinguisher, then personal interest and material satisfaction take precedence over all else. Why suffer? Why sacrifice? If life is flitting, let us cull its pleasures and turn away from its duties. This is the logic of materialism we see enacted daily. 7. The intuition of the masses. Nevertheless, let us take heart. Idealism is not quite dead. The human soul experiences the inadequacy of this life and the necessity of a hereafter. A deep intuition still throbs in the soul of the people. They have become incredulous regarding dogma, but they are not skeptics. Vaguely, confusedly, the people still believe in justice and aspire to it. Witness the Creed of Remembrance on the 2nd of November. Crowds surge to the tombs of their beloved dead, a touching manifestation that denotes a confused instinct of immortality. The people are not atheists. They have faith in immanent justice and liberty, which subsist by the sanction of eternal laws. This sentiment is our salvation. It drives the people to seek justice in politics, economics, and cooperative schemes. A vast ramification of workmen's societies is overspreading the earth, a socialistic gathering marching beneath one banner. This is a matter of weighty consequence. If this movement seeks inspiration from materialistic doctrines, it will become an instrument of destruction and dire revolution. But if restrained by wisdom and illuminated by a divine ideal, it may effect much for the happiness of mankind. 8. The synthesis, a new teaching. We are in a time of crisis and renewal. The world is in fermentation. Corruption is in the ascendant, but behind the shadow we perceive the light. Society cannot perish. If it bears the germs of decomposition, it also holds the seeds of transformation. Decomposition heralds a new birth. Whence will come this light? Not from the church, which cannot regenerate the human mind. Not from science, which cares nothing for conscience, devotion, virtue, or love. To raise the moral level, to check the twin streams of superstition and skepticism, we require a fresh conception of life and the universe. We need a belief based on the study of nature and conscience, upon facts and reason. We need a belief that offers an incentive for improvement and a strong conviction of our ultimate fate. 9. The voice of the dead. Reflect on this glory. The conception and teaching we require is already here. Above the din of disputes, a voice has made itself heard, the voice of the dead. The dead have revealed themselves from beyond the grave, more alive than when they stood amongst us in the light of their revelations. The veil hiding the future life has fallen. Their precepts will conciliate all conflicting creeds and cause a new flame to arise from the ashes of the past. In this philosophy of the spirits, we find that secret doctrine which ran like a golden vein through the courts of the ages, now renovated and cleansed of its dross. Its shattered remnants have been bound together by the powerful cement of direct experience. This is Spiritism. 10. The sanctuary of silence, the discipline of the soul. Yet, let us not be deceived by the mere acquisition of knowledge. To simply know these truths, to hold them as a comforting ideology or a philosophy of the mind, is but the first step on the ladder of ascent. It is not enough to believe. One must become. The ancients, the sages of the Vedic traditions and the masters of the Buddhist path, understood a profound truth that we in our modern intellectual arrogance often overlook. The mind is a wild horse, and the emotions are a tempestuous sea. Without a disciplined will, without a vessel purified by practice, the highest spiritual truths remain distinct from us, admired but never inhabited. We must cultivate a spiritual discipline, a sadhana that goes beyond reading and debating. We must look to the ancient science of yoga, not merely as a gymnastic of the body, but as the sacred union of the finite self with the infinite. Through the architecture of a disciplined body, we create a temple worthy of the spirit, a focused instrument capable of directing its will against the entropy of the material world. We must learn the art of silence. As the masters taught, we must still the chitta-vritti, the chaotic fluctuations of the mind. Through the practice of deep meditation, we learn to lower the volume of our internal noise, that ceaseless chatter of anxiety and desire that drowns out the whispers of the soul. It is only in the sanctuary of this silence that we can truly hear the voice of the dead and the guidance of the divine. By mastering our breath, by governing our impulses, and by observing our thoughts with the detachment of a witness, we move from being slaves of our biology to being masters of our destiny. This is the true virile education of the future, a fusion of high philosophy with deep transformative practice. 11. Conclusion: the splendid destiny. This new edifice, built on knowledge and fortified by discipline, is erected upon the rock of experiment and constantly renewed faith. Thanks to it, the certainty of immortality is made manifest to all men. We are shown the innumerable existences and the unceasing progress that await us in the successive cycles of eternity. This doctrine is bound to transform all nations and classes. It conveys light where all is dark. It melts with its heat the icy selfishness at the heart of man. It reveals the laws that unite us in bonds of close solidarity. Its unification will be compounded of peace and harmony. Follow Spiritism. Follow the laws of God. Your efforts are rewarded. Through this knowledge and through the rigorous practice of the soul, we shall learn to act with one heart and one mind. Conscious of his strength, man will finally be able to advance with an assured tread towards his splendid destiny. The peril is great, yes, but behind the peril lies salvation. Let us walk toward that light.